सह नौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। Let us chant Hanuman Chalisa together. Shri Guru Charan Saroj Raj Nij Man Mukur Sudhari Bरनऊ रघुवर विमल जसु जोदायक फलचारी। बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस सिंह लोक उजागर। रामदूत अतुलित बल धाम अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नाम। महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी। कंचन बरण विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा। हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे। शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन। विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर। प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया कामन बसिया। सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा। भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए। रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरतहि सम भाई। सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे। सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा। जम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते। तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीना राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा। तुमरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। लील्योताहि मधुर फल जानु प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि। जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाही दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते। सुगम अनुग्रह तुमरे तेते। राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे। सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज संभालो आपे तीनों लोक हाँकते कापे। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे। नासे रोग हरे
सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा। संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे, मन क्रम भजन ध्यान जो लावे। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे। चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा, है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नव निधि के दाता, असवर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुमरे पास, रघुपति के दासा। तुमरे भजन राम को पावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे। अंत काल रघुबर पुर जाई, और देवता चित्तन धरई। हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई, संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा। जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई। जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई, छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होई सिद्धि साखी गौरी। तुलसीदास सदा हरि की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा, की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरण, मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसहु सुरभूप। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय, बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय।
How many of you have grown plucking a fruit straight from the tree and not straight from the apple? Zepto, Blinkit हो नहीं है, but straight from the tree. अनुभवी लोग हैं. What are the different methods with which we pluck the fruit from the tree? With a hand, with a stick, with a hook. You throw a stick, you throw a stone, you climb the funniest one, the best one. You climb the tree. How many of you have tried a catapult? Oh. गुलेल ऐसा तो बोलते हैं ना. हाँ. Thank you for so robustly participating in my questions. Whenever a plant grows, matures and starts giving us the fruit, who is the fruit for? For us. But then how do we treat that tree who is giving its best to us. कभी पत्थर मारा, कभी डंडा मारा, कभी गुलेर मारा. As though the tree was resisting us from taking it, therefore we had to use all kinds of techniques to snatch it from that tree. In fact, that tree is so benevolent that when it is laden with all these fruits, it bends down conveniently for us so that we can take benefit of that fruit. And yet, what is the treatment that we give to that tree? Quite torturous actually. In that entire process, how many leaves get hurt? How many branches get broken? How much of trauma that the tree has to go through in giving that which was meant for us. It is not like the tree was trying to hide the best of its crop up above so that we will never be able to reach. The heavier and the most sweeter that would be bending down towards us. Isn't it? Supposing somebody is coming to your house as a celebratory note, anniversary, birthday, whatever it was, or your promotion, whatever. They come home with bearing gifts. You are 4 or 5 people in the family. You wait eagerly for that guest to arrive. As soon as they step in, one of you snatches, one of you beats them with a danda, one of you throws a stone, one with a catapult aims at them. Supposing, go along with my fantasy. Supposing you do that to a guest who is bearing gifts coming to our house. What is the condition of that guest? Will that guest ever try to come back ever to our house again? They would probably think, शहर को बर्बाद करने के लिए एक ही उल्लू काफी था, यहाँ तो इस घर में डाली डाली के 1000 लटके हुए हैं. Isn't it? And they will even inform others, if you ever go to that house, पागलों की टोली बैठी हुई है, be very very careful with them. Why? They beat you. They snatch the gift that which you are supposed to give it to them. Now imagine yourself in that position of being that guest who has gotten this special treatment. Would you ever go back to that house? But the beauty of nature is, come next year around in that same season, that tree brings forth again its best, again and again and again. That is called upakara. Upakar is not when we do some good to the other person and also put the burden on them, burden of shame on them of having received it. That whenever you meet them, हाँ आ जाओ, do you know I gave them something? क्या दिया था बोलो? First, as soon as we give gifts or do any favor to someone, we look at it as a calculation. What is the calculation? These are the people that have a lot of itch. I scratch your back, you scratch mine. तो itchy people हुए कि नहीं? And we keep a count. ఆ రోజు అప్పుడు అక్కడ ఇది నీకు ఆ అవసరంలో నేను తీర్చా, నాకు ఇప్పుడు ఇస్తావా ఇవ్వవా? That is not called paropakara. Paropakara is that wherein, as Kabir Das ji says, when you give it with your right hand, your left hand should not know that you have given. That should be the attitude. We should even take care of protecting the one that has received it from feeling overburdened by our support and upakara. Whatever the cumulative effect of the entire good that which we do, even if we give the right address, it goes to some other street with the same door number. Has it happened? I know for sure that our mail reaches to Malli Amma's house. That then she has to bring it back and say, "Sir, I think there is one." It can go off to some other. And especially on the apps when you order them, you have given the address, you have given the markers, they will call you to ascertain where exactly it is, and then on the top of it deliver it wrongly. The app says it is delivered, your door shows it is not arrived. These mistakes can happen. I was told long time ago, about 25, 30, 35 years ago, one of our Swamijis went to the airport, got into the flight, reached to the other side only to understand or come to know that he has taken a wrong flight. He has reached a completely different city, which is about 600 miles away. हो सकता है ऐसी गलतियां, but in the field of karma, karturagneya prapyate phalam. When the result of our good has to yield that benefit for us is decided by that Ishvara. But then we have this eczema of comparing it with others and expecting a similar result because it seemingly appears that all of them have put the same effort. In your garden, if you sow paddy, if you sow coconut, if you sow a guava, which one is the one that will give the crop last? Coconut. A quiz question for you. Is coconut a fruit or a vegetable? स्वामी जी ये तो हमने कभी सोचा ही नहीं था यार. Who said that? It is neither a fruit nor a vegetable, it is a nut. It's there in the name. Coconut. So that coconut takes the longest time to grow, longest time to yield the fruit. It is growing in the same soil, similar kind of soil. It is getting all the nutrients from the same effort. Which one will yield the faster result? The paddy, then the guava, then the coconut. But our comparative itch, and that too when it happens amongst the children, looking at that coconut and showing that coconut to the paddy field. బుద్ధి తెచ్చుకో యథావత నీకంటే చిన్నగా ఉన్నాడు ఎంత త్వరగా రిజల్ట్ ఇస్తున్నాడు చూడు. కోకోనట్ హ్యాస్ ఇట్స్ ఓన్ టైమ్, guava has its own time. Effort seems to be similar. What makes the difference? They're different seedlings. Each one yields the result in a different pattern. When we do upakar to this world, meaning all acts of dharmic good, the result of it may not be immediate. The result most probably will not be gained by you to that person to who you have done upakara for. थोड़ी सी उर्दू मिला दूं तो in that frustration ऐसे एहसान फरामोश कृतघ्न, that people take all this and then they never ever. I am disappointed with this word. Hanuman ji did his upakara wherever dharma was required. तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा. Now Sugriva's story is the story of Lachari. One after the other, only misunderstandings in his life. There were two brothers, Vali and Sugriva. Vali was ruling, Sugriva was his obedient lieutenant, his commander-in-chief, his best friend, always. So there was this asura that was attacking, sneaky guerrilla warfare, that he would unassumingly come attack the Kishkinda Vasis, and this was getting into a menace. So both of them tried finding him and chased him. He went into a cave. So Vali said, "Don't worry, brother, you stand outside. Wait for a fortnight. One Paksha, 15 days. Stay there. If I do not come out in these 15 days, understand that the other fellow has won and I have lost. Put this big boulder as a block and seal this cave so that that fellow cannot come out." So Sugriva waited there for 15 long days, and having waited there, It seems it was beginning of monsoon season, and there was a lot of water rushing out of that cave, and along with the water there was blood that was flowing out. It was almost the beginning of the 16th day. He remembered what his brother had asked him to do. So he put the boulder, nicely sealed it, and with a heavy heart came back to Kishkinda. And they all mourned, and they said, a kingdom cannot be without a king. Therefore, the next best option that we have is you. And he was duly coronated as the king. Pattabhisheka was done. Within a 7-day period, the Dwara of Kishkinda Nagari crumbled and broke down to pieces because furious Vali came back. And when he came back, he started alleging his brother that he must have closed everything and turned his back on him just because he wanted to become the king. You have been corrupted with power, you wanted to be the king, and he started beating him. They had a fight, and Sugriva knew that nobody can ever win with Vali, because he had this power to take away the opponent's half of the power every time they met. Matlab, in couple of rounds, they would be depleted so much that there is nothing for them to stand for. He would automatically win. He started running here and there. But lucky for him that he had some very good friends. Jambavan, Nala Neela, Hanuman. One should have at least in life 4 good friends. And Sugriva had 4 best friends. Very capable people. So Hanumanji, after running for a while with Sugriva, said, wait a second, why are we running like this? Isn't there a curse on your brother right outside of Kishkinda Nagari? There is this Parvata Shankhala. In that there is one Parvata called Rishamukha Parvat. On that Rishamukha Parvat, Bali had done some grave mistake towards some sages, and they had collectively cursed him that if he ever stepped on that mountain, his head would break into 1,000 pieces. Let us give Vali the opportunity to test it. So instead of running here and there, all of them got settled in that mountain range called Rishamukha Parvata. In that Rishamukha Parvata, while they were hiding out, one day Sugriva came running back to the cave, and he was quickly packing his backpack. Whatever little potli, so he started packing it. Hanumanji rushed to him and said, "Hey bhai, kahin jane ka plan hai kya? We have not booked tickets. Where are you flying to? Where are you trying to go?" He said, "You don't understand." "Make me understand. Where are you trying to run?" He said, "Let us rush." Ahle bolo to sahi. When people are in that kind of anxiety mode, their speech and action doesn't have a correlation to logic. It is completely divorced from logic. So he made him sit down quietly and asked him, what is माजरा क्या है, बोलो तो सही. I said, I am sure Wali has hired hitmen. Somebody he has hired only for the purpose of killing me. He cannot step here, so he has hired somebody. There are these two brilliant looking fighters. They have all the astra shastra. They are walking towards Rishimukha Parvata. I am scared. Now Hanumanji was such that even in the utmost panicky moment, he had his presence of mind. He said, give me one opportunity. Let me go check and come back with, let me do the Reiki. Reconnaissance. Let me go and see what exactly is happening there, who they are, what is their intention. Let me do that. So Hanumanji took a disguise as a Batu, young Brahmana, and then went and met these two young, brilliant looking warriors. And the way Hanumanji approached, because he could read very clearly that both of them were also very anxious. They were absorbed in their own world, kind of. When somebody is on the edge of anxiety and absorbed in, you go start asking questions, you become a irritant and the recipient of all their frustration. किसी का गुस्सा किसी और पे. So Hanumanji very, very consciously articulated with the best of the approach. You look like two young warriors. Looking at your structure and stature, it looks like these astra shastra that you are carrying you are well versed at it. Because he observed the three fingers. If you have gone to archery, you have to observe these three fingers and this side of their hand. Why? Constantly using those arrows, there are calluses that form on your three fingers. Bodipal karta hai. And then on this side of the arm, when you release the arrow, the string is with such tension that it sometimes scrapes through the skin. There are those marks. That is why when you see those warriors, their armor is stretching all the way up here to protect this side of their skin because of their archery skill. And you seem to be somebody who is skilled at it, looking at these. So who exactly are you people? As expected, who was the angry young man here? A very misunderstood person. Lakshmana did not get angry just like that because he had a short fuse. Whenever comfort of Bhagavan Sri Ramchandra ji and Sita Maiya was disturbed, or anybody could be getting into that space wherein it could be a consequence of disturbance for them or a nuisance for them, that is the only time when he would get furious. not otherwise. And now they both were anxious because Sita ji was just then before abducted. And Jatayu had given them the directions that the fellow who abducted went southwardly. So they had followed the southern path and reached up until Hampi, Kishkinda. So Bhagwan Sri Ramchandra ji very patiently answers the query while putting Lakshmana at bay. So he turns to Lakshmana first and says, Shanto Bhava. This person that is there in front of us looks like no ordinary. Why? His vocabulary seems so well refined that he has gone through a very severe penance and tapas in being a great Vatu. In fact, his vocabulary suggests that he is a Nava Vyakarana Pandita. One of the names of Hanumanji, 108 names, is Nava Vyakarana Pandita. Today, to read one Vyakarana of one language itself is like he knew back and forth 9 different Vyakarana systems. And that refinement of knowing was reflecting in his way of articulation. He is no ordinary person, don't take him lightly. Let me handle it. So Ramji gave that message and immediately Hanuman said, Arey, something strange happened exactly around the days that you are talking, that there was a small pouch of all kinds of abharana that had fallen very close by. We have actually retrieved it. So immediately Hanumanji correlates that this must not be a person who has come to kill Sugriva. He did not have a contract on him and we are no contract killers. And that they are the prince from Ayodhya Nagari, Rama and Lakshmana. He immediately evaluated the situation. Having them on Sugriva's side, look at his thinking, that with the friendship with these two, Sugriva would stand to benefit, and it is my responsibility to make that alliance in such a way that Sugriva has a strong force for his defense or offense. Hanumanji did not have enough time to inform this to Sugriva and then come back and then take Ramji and Lakshmanji, because one of them was very, very impatient fellow. He said, my friends are just on the top of this mountain, that is where we have this packet of ornaments. I would wish to show it to you. And Lakshmanji was in his impatience, like, अब यहाँ ऊपर तक चढ़ना पड़ेगा. We have to climb all the way up. So Hanumanji immediately came to his original form, did namaskara, dandavat namaskara to Ramji, and that is when Ramchandra ji blessed him, Chiranjeevi. The moment Bhagwan blessed him as Chiranjeevi Bhava, his curse, there was a curse on Hanumanji. Why did he have a curse? When he was young, it seems, after having had the incident with all the devatas when he had gulped down the Surya, he became so powerful, and that became the cause for his immense mischief and naughtiness. that he would constantly prank on all the sages and saints that were practicing their tapas. So got frustrated with this little fellow and his immense power. They gave a sharper that may you forget this until it is of use when somebody comes blessing you as Chiranjeevi Bhava. And that had happened in that moment. Immediately Hanumanji understood, because his mother had told him, whoever gives you that blessings, understand he is your master and you are his sevaka. Eyes filled with tears, because that word came true today. He immediately became Vishalakaya and gave them an immediate ride on his shoulders. One side Ramji, one side Lakshmanji. Now after having calmed himself down because he found his master, he immediately quickly thought, if I go through the frontal road, Sugriva seeing that I am bringing you directly to the cave, he would have already run 3 mountains away. So he went through the back door, and as soon as he landed there, he caught hold of Sugriva. He said, don't run, they are friends. Because Sugriva was panicking. He was in such anxious panicking mode that he may have misunderstood. That he promised me that he will go and check who they are. Maybe he is also sold out. Maybe he is bringing them, they must have enticed him with something. Maybe he is bringing them directly for my direct demise. So without giving scope to Sugriva for that kind of anxiety, protecting him from that anxiety, he took Rama and Lakshmana directly. And Sugriva told him his entire story. This is what has happened. To assure Sugriva, Bhagwan Ramchandra ji immediately asked Hanumanji, get me a kalasha of water. And I, as the representative of Ayodhya Nagari, which is the empire under which all of this purview is under us, so bestowed upon with that capacity, I will coronate him as the king of Kishkinda in exile, promising that soon you will be the king. We know the story next. He said, go challenge your brother. First time he goes, Bhagwan, who was there to support him, could not make the difference who was Vali and who was Sugriva. They looked so much alike. See, once somebody had invited me to Bhiksha to their house. This is in Dallas, America. I was walking towards that apartment, and suddenly came these group of 8 to 10 black people. We were 2 or 3 of us, and our discussion was, we can't really make out who is who, and their size is terrifying. I am close to 6 and I have to look at them like that. And this is what we were discussing. And as we crossed each other, one of us asked the direction for that apartment, and one of them became friendly enough to say, man, you Indians look all the same to us. If you ever go to Thailand, China or Japan, it takes a while to get acclimatized to know the subtle differences from one person to the other person, because they all look similar. For them it is the same. We all look similar. So they were brothers, so similarity would have been there, but a completely a different jati. So Bhagavan and Lakshmana must have also found that similarity so close that they couldn't make that difference. Who is Vali and who is Sugriva? Then Bhagavan ordered Lakshmana, prepare a mala. Let us adorn Sugriva with that mala. See, when you go to airport, everybody has a suitcase, and everybody's suitcase is in most probably one color. And what is that universal color? Black. Now, it is rotating. How do I identify which black is mine? So what do? You put your marker on it. Some kind of a unique tag which stands out from a distance. देखते ही पता चल जाता है. As soon as अपना आ गया. Our luggage has come. How? The tag distinguishes it from the rest of them. So Bhagavan said, let us tag Sugriva with a Jayamala. Bhagavan rightfully took care of Vali. At that moment when he knew it was his last few moments, Vali asked Sugriva to have a one-on-one with Bhagavan Ramchandra. He says, hey Dasharathi, his address to Rama is not as Sitapati, not as Dasharathi. He is calling him as Hey Ayodhyapati, O representative of Ayodhya. I know where I have faltered in this life and doubted my brother. But whatever was the wrong done by me, let my son not be punished for it. May you give me the word that my son Angada will be protected and be always with Sugriva. Many of us have several discussions whether it was dharmic or adharmic of, first of all, you and I do not have the qualification to question Bhagavan Ramchandra ji. Sapne mein bhi nahi. We are nowhere close to ask. He is the very embodiment of dharma. We are the very convenience of dharma. अगर चल जाए तो धर्म, नहीं चल जाए तो ठीक है. And for us to have the audacity to question Ramchandra ji, आईने में देखा है क्या? खुद का थोबड़ा. We don't stand a chance to question Bhagavan Rama. What right do we have when we are not even close to dharmic living? Second, Vali himself is telling Bhagavan Sri Ramachandra ji about his wrongdoings and why it was right of Ayodhyapati to take care of somebody like him, and he deserved it. When he himself came to terms with it, वे आप लोगों की कुजली क्या है? सीधी सीधी पूछ रहा हूं मैं. जो खाया उसे प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. Am I getting across? just because he had to have some discussion, make Bhagwan Sri Ramchandra ji the scapegoat of our wrong understanding of our dharma? Anyway, Sugriva said, Bhagwan, this is monsoon season. I told you, right? Monsoon season had begun. So this was the end of the monsoon. There is still one more masa. By this time I would have organized my entire Kishkinda Nagari. By the end of this Chaturmasya, I will come with my army to you so that we can start searching for Sita ji. From here on, to go into the further denser forests will become impossible task during these monsoon times. Let these monsoons subside. Let the rivers subside, and I will help you find Sita ji and retrieve her. Thus, having given the word, Bhagwan Ramchandra ji and Lakshman ji did not step in to Kishkinda Nagar, because one of the promises that was given to Mother Kaikeyi is that during these years of Vanavasa, Bhagwan should not enter any kingdom. Manthara was very thorough. If she were born in today's time, she would have been the best CA, chartered accountant. She knew how to write down all the possible stipulations, ensuring that Bhagwan Rama would not have the capacity to create an army and attack back on Bharata. So one of those was, you shall not enter into any kingdom. Sugriva was sent to the kingdom, and there 1 month passed by. 1 week after that 1 month also passed by. Second week started. Ramji looked at Lakshmana and said, enough is enough. Don't trigger a fight with Sugriva. He will lose. Just remind him gently. Do not step into Kishkinda Nagar. Ramji is very clear to Lakshmana. Knowing that he is the most obedient, he gave the guidelines. Do not transcend these, but go remind him. Lakshmana goes outside of Kishkinda Nagari. He is already angry. He is impatient by nature. Sheshanag का अवतार है ना, वो फुस करना आदत है उनको. He was angry, he was impatient, and he was seething with that uncontrollable emotion. He reaches to the dwar of Kishkinda Nagar. He is like, Bhaiya, why did you keep that? I shouldn't be crossing. I would have taught him this lesson. But anyway, he pulled out his bow and strung it, and making a sound, jhankar, of that bow string. It was such a thundering sound that deep inside the palace where Sugriva was lost in his enjoyments, postponing his promise. I wouldn't say he was forgetful. He remembered, but he was postponing it. He quickly barked out all the commands, assembling everybody, ran personally out, fell at Lakshmana's feet and said, I remember. You lead me, I am following you, and my people will join us there. Immediately. So here he says, Rama Milaya. Where are you? तुम उपकार सुग्रीव कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा. Sugriva became the king. Now comes the next upakara. Vibhishana went to his brother. See, the difference between Hanumanji and Ravana is Hanumanji is Jnana Sagara, and we have seen this earlier, Guna Sagara also. Jai Hanuman Jnana Guna Sagara. Ravana, on the other hand, was Jnana Sagara only. Guna had gone for a toss. All the vices and all the avaguna, avalakshana that you can think of were there, but he was also extremely intelligent and extremely knowledgeable. That knowledge which is gained and in a person who does not have the channelizing source of guna, it will turn only vakra. All that was done to substantiate his own vices and avalakshanas. So his messengers came to Ravana, and the message is very funny. He says, the Duta says to Ravana, "Hey Prabhu, on the other side of this ocean, there is an assembly of huge Vanara Sainya. And they all look as mighty and powerful as that one who had come to our Lanka." That is where the saying comes, कि किसी की लंका लगा देना. The fellow who came to burn our entire Lankapuri, they all look exactly like him, powerful like him. And it seems their leader is someone called Rama, whose consort you have abducted. As soon as Vibhishana hears this, he goes and pleads to Ravana. There is also one misnomer about Vibhishana. They say in Hindi, घर की वेदी लंका ढाए. भेद विभीषण ने नहीं किया था. Vibhishana went as a loving brother, tried educating Ravana, tried convincing Ravana. In that sabha of Ravana, Ravana kicks that Vibhishana out. With no other place to go, Vibhishana comes down to Bhagwan Ramchandra ji's encampment. And all these Vanaras catch hold of Vibhishana and his entourage of people, tie them down, bring them in the presence of Bhagwan Sri Ramchandra ji. There is a huge assembly in the tent. Who is the one person that recognized who it was? Hanumanji. Who knows that Hanumanji would know better? Ramji. But then Bhagavan Rama went through each person's opinion. What should we do with these people? Some said they have come, they may be the spies. They have come to decipher our armed forces, to inform back to Ravana. Let us take punitive action. Almost everybody else said the same thing. Finally, when Hanuman was asked, "Bhai Hanuman, आपका क्या विचार है?" He says, "Hey Bhagwan, this was that Vibhishana because of whose help I could exactly identify where Mother Sita was imprisoned. And because of his help, I could do the following. Even when he did not know you, he was thinking of surrendering unto you, and he was feeling awkward that I have been born in this kind of a lineage where I am an Asura. Would I be even qualified to come surrender to Bhagavan?" And it was then that I consoled him that what are you talking? You are at least in a human birth. We are in the Vanara Jati, and Bhagavan has already accepted us. If he has accepted someone like us, why would he not accept you? It is that Vibhishana. One important life lesson to learn here. Know your place and time to speak. Imagine if you had that kind of information which Hanumanji had. Imagine, take your time, imagine. And Bhagavan Ramchandra ji is in that sabha to decide on that information which you already have. But he is not asking you. What would be our reaction? समझ रहे हो बात? What would be our reaction? How would we have handled this situation? We would have jumped in and we would have said, "Bhagavan, if I were you, you are not. So therefore, SHUT, you be." समझ रहे हो? He did not jump the gun. Whenever it was necessary and when he was asked of it, then he came forth giving the entire Vrittanta to the dot. Many times our problem stems forth not because I have a solution. Our problem stems forth from knowing the solution but not knowing when to pitch that solution. We don't know how to pitch because we are high on our itch. मेरे को भी मालूम है, मेरे को भी मालूम है, मेरे को बोलने का इच्छा है. चुप. That is what we should be able to tell our mind. There should be a time, there should be a space, there should be an opportunity for you to deliver that. Wait for it patiently. Am I getting across? If we can learn this skill, whether it is in the family, whether it is in outside Vyavahara, to know one's own place and to have absolute clarity when to do and what to do. 95% of our problems are resolved by having this patience. And whenever action has to be taken, take that action in full format, not half-hearted. But wait, understand, read the situation and know your place, know your responsibility and do the right thing. As soon as Hanumanji revealed who it was, Bhagwan immediately said, unshackle them. Vibhishana, I am now very clear that you have come here for nothing but Sharanagati. And he asks Hanumanji again, get a kalasha full of water, and he seats down Vibhishana, and then right then and there he coronates him as the king of Lankapuri. See, whenever we tell these stories to kids, one has to be careful. Because their imagination is so fertile that though I think I have imagined, visualized and thought through all possible angles in my narration, they can come up with such amazing angles that our jaw will drop. After listening to this much part of the story, one kid said, Swamiji, Lanka was not his kingdom to give to Vibhishana. What if Ravana also surrendered? Now you said Bhagwan Ramchandra ji is a man of his word and he has already given Lanka to Vibhishana. What if Ravana had surrendered? What then? Luckily I had heard Puja Guruji. It came to my rescue. I said, unhesitatingly, spontaneously, Bhagwan Ramchandra ji would have given entire Ayodhya Nagari to Ravana. Unhesitatingly, only if Ravana had surrendered. Bhagwan, galti ho gayi, bhul chuk maan. And Ramji would have taken him immediately in. Because for somebody who is that kind of vicious, it takes a lot of courage to surrender. And if that fellow has surrendered, he has to be encouraged. तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा, राम मिला या राज पद दीन्हा। तुमरो मंत्र विभीषण माना, लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु, लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानु। We have already seen this part when we were discussing his younger days. That he, in his childhood playfulness, had consumed the sun. See, if we look at it in a very symbolic way, the child, every child for that matter, always has the aptitude to know and fly high, to reach to the stars. It is our job as parents and this generation to provide them with the right set of wings and aptitude to constantly learn and grow. Not just mug up and regurgitate it in the format of exams. उससे कभी किसी का फायदा नहीं हुआ है. To transform that piece of data which they are receiving in the schools or various formats of education, to transform that into wisdom applicable in life. Because as children they have always that inquisitiveness and enthusiasm to know, learn and grow high. Constantly they will yapping away all kinds of questions. That is how every child grows. Their mind is like a sponge. It can soak up all kinds of information. It is our job to provide the best of the information, not snub it. जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जान. Once we give them the right set of wings, sky is the limit. They can reach and achieve almost everything that they can dream of. दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हारे तेते. They say it takes a long while to please Bhagwan Sri Ramchandra ji for a darshan. But if Hanuman ji is cooperating with you, then Bhagwan becomes Sugama just by the grace and blessings of Hanuman ji. And Sant Goswami Tulsidas ji, born out of his own personal experience, therefore he is saying these 3-4 sentences. He is saying, I would not have ever imagined that in this life I would have the opportunity to have Bhagwan Sri Ramchandra ji's darshan. But oh Hanuman ji, with your presence and blessings, it so happened that I was blessed with Bhagwan's darshan. So the story goes that Sant Goswami Tulsidas ji was also known famously as a Kathakar, Ramcharit. He would conduct Saptahas. Morning 3-4 hours, evening 3-4 hours, he would narrate the story of Bhagwan. Whenever he would, on this particular occasion when he was doing the Saptaha, every day, when he would sit down for the pravachan, the original kamandal, what is the fake kamandal that we use today? The Bisleri bottle. Anywhere that we go, one hand bottle. So in the ancient days, they used to carry a kamandalu. So there was a kamandalu kept just like it. There is a glass water. In that kamandalu there was some water. So 3 hours, 4 hours at a stretch if you have to speak. It takes a lot of effort. Your throat becomes parched. It dries out. So he would sip some water in between. And whatever water was left in his kamandalu, while going back to his kutia, he would offer that water left out at a banyan tree. And this katha was happening morning and evening. He was throwing that water. On the penultimate day of that, meaning one day before the final grand conclusion of this katha, in the evening when Tulsidas ji was pouring that water out of his kamandalu, suddenly a divine being appeared out of the tree. And he comes and prostrates to Tulsidas ji. He says, "Hey Mahatma, I did not think that I would be released of my shapa. For last 2,000-3,000 years I have been stuck on this banyan tree as a Brahma Rakshasa. But because of your punya phala, that whatever remains of what you had consumed and that was touched by you, that was poured by your own hands at this banyan tree. and because of that punya phala, I got released from my Brahma Rakshasa Yoni. Inadvertently, the favor that you have done unto me, I would like to return the favor back to you. He says, you may not be aware that in your katha, Hanumanji comes and sits in the very end. He comes in after you start. Before your arati is done, he leaves. Tomorrow in the evening when Hanumanji comes, ask your students to continue with the arati. You get up, run and hold on to his feet. There will be this old man in a very disgusted kind of clothing. Don't give up. Keep holding on to his feet until he shows you his original form. Not the disguise. Compel him with your devotion to reveal his original form, removing his disguise. Hanumanji is coming, listening to your katha. Whole night Tulsidas ji was tossing on his bed. He could not sleep because the excitement was unbearable. He was like, Hanumanji dikhenge. He was tossing. He went through the morning like a breeze. He was waiting till the evening. When the evening happened, the katha finished, the arati was just begun. He got up like a spring, ran to the back, and needless to say, there was this old man limping and going away. He fell at his feet, caught hold of his feet, and says, please Bhagwan, reveal your form. I know for a fact that you are Hanuman. Hanumanji tried to wriggle away. Tulsidas ji would not budge. So finally, looking at his devotion, Hanumanji revealed his form to him. Gave him the blessings and hugged him. And he said, Bhaiya, the katha that you say has so much of devotion. It is so nectarine-like. I feel somebody like you is really qualified to have darshan of Bhagwan. I will immediately go and request Bhagwan to give you darshan. So Hanumanji went to Bhagwan. And Sita ji said, objection, my lord. How can somebody's request be fulfilled like this? They must be qualified. So Ramji said, don't worry about it. When Hanumanji ushers somebody, he would have been the best of the best of the best. I surely feel compelled to go give darshan to Tulsidas. So Tulsidas ji at that time was in Chitrakoot. You know where Chitrakoot is, right? Ayodhya ke bagal mein. So in the morning he went to the river, took bath and was performing his morning Sandhya Vandana. And on the banks, there was a lot of halla gulla happening. Everybody was turning and there was a mob. And they seemed like they were following these two young horsemen riding on the horse. They looked so resplendent with such glow on them. Hanumanji, Tulsidas ji thought, maybe they are the local prince. And he turned around, sat down in Sandhya Vandana, and Hanumanji was like, I requested them for your sake, and you are turning away and doing your Sandhya Vandana. So he goes back to, Hanumanji goes back to Bhagwan. I said, poor innocent fellow, did not know that you were coming, missed the opportunity. Can you please give him one more opportunity? So the next day morning when Tulsidas ji sat down to do his Nitya Puja, and he was, what do you call it? The sandalwood. He was making the paste of that chandan. Two little kutti children, very, very cute, very, very, anybody seeing them would become mugdha. Even Tulsidas ji was like, "Arey, कौन है बेटा? क्या चाहिए?" They said, "Baba, थोड़ा सा चंदन हमें भी लगा दो. Put this chandan on our forehead also." So Tulsidas ji took out that chandan, nicely decorated their forehead. Even at this point, he was still clueless that they were Rama and Lakshmana. So seeing that Tulsidas ji might miss out on another opportunity, golden opportunity. It was not like riding on a horse and going away giving a fly-by darshan. It is like a personalized darshan in his kutia, right in front of him standing. He is holding them and putting the tilak and still doesn't recognize. Hanumanji immediately took the form of a parrot. And it seems he sung the following doha. चित्रकूट के घाट पर गए संतन के पीर. That opportunity which you had on the ghat of Chitrakoot in earlier morning, it is the same. Chandana deta Raghuveer. You are giving that chandana to Raghuveer himself. As soon as Tulsidas ji comes to know of this, swelled with tears, swelled with emotion, falls on the feet of both Lakshmana and Rama, thankful to Hanuman ji. Durgam kaaj jagat ke jete, sugam anugrah tumare tete. Ram duare tum rakhware, hot na agnya binu paisare. This has to be understood properly, okay? Just because a mic can be taken and a katha can be said, things cannot be misinterpreted. We all chant Shuklam Bharadaram. Who do we invoke with that shloka? Louder. Let us chant the entire shloka. Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Seshivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Vadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vighna Upashantaye. Therefore, it is the shloka to invoke the blessings of Vigneshwara and not Vishnu, just because the shloka says Vishnu. Vishnu there actually means Sarva Vyapakatvat Vishnu. Vishnu means that essence which is all pervasive. And Ganesh ji is being invoked as that all pervasive principle. I was going to make that as an example, but you also said Vishnu, so I have to now end up explaining it. So some Pandit was giving the meaning of this particular doha as Hot na agnya binu paisare. Unless you give good dakshina at Hanumanji's temple where I am doing pravachan, you will not have the blessings of Hanumanji and through him the blessings of Ramchandraji. Therefore, take out your wallet, Take out your purse and give healthy donations. Hot na ajna binu paisa re. That which is not possible with a lot of effort, with your presence becomes simpler, easy, accessible. And Sant Goswami Tulsidas, his own life, his own experience of how he met Hanumanji and how Hanumanji helped him find Ramchandraji, and that experience he is trying to say. Then how do we also get that in our life? Now, he getting that benefit, he has already benefited, it is a part of the history, done deal. मेरे को भी वही चाहिए. I also require the exact thing. How do I make it a possibility? See, the beauty of whether it is Bhagavad Gita or any such Shastra is that wherever there is a concept given, the concept's explanation also follows. So how do we make it a reality in our life? That is given in the next doha. If you want to know the trick, if you want to know the method, come back tomorrow. तो 8 तो बज गया. Usually I have to see the time, but for me, my time walks. So as soon as he gets up from there and moves this side or this side to walk in here, I know it is my time to wrap it up. So I saw him in the corner of my eye moving. I said, "Chalo, band karte hain." So we'll see that tomorrow. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kasyat Dukkha Bhag Bhavet, Asato Ma Satgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritangamaya. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.